Welcome back to my channel. Today we will learn about the issue currently tearing through the emotional core of CBS's The Bold and the Beautiful, a devastating storyline that has left fans heartbroken and stunned. The Spencer family, long known for its strength, ambition, and complicated dynamics, is facing an unimaginable tragedy. In a shocking turn of events, Bill Spencer, the patriarch of the Spencer dynasty, is brought to his knees after losing both of his sons, Liam and Wyatt, within days of each other. What begins with a medical secret becomes a story of grief, regret, and the fragile line between legacy and loss. For weeks, Liam had been living with a fatal diagnosis. After collapsing and being rushed to the hospital, doctors discovered an inoperable brain tumor. The location made surgical removal impossible. The prognosis was terminal. At first, Liam chose to suffer in silence. He didn't want to burden his loved ones or create a sense of helpless dread among those closest to him. Only Steffi and Finn knew, and later, hope was brought into the circle, especially after she discovered she was pregnant with Liam's child. But there was one person Liam continued to avoid telling: his father, Bill. Bill Spencer has always been a force of nature. Bold, calculating, and passionate, he has built his empire through ambition and aggression. But when it comes to his sons, particularly Liam, he has always shown a different side: protective, proud, and deeply emotional, even if he struggles to express it. Liam knows this. He knows how much Bill believes in him, how often Bill has said that Liam is the future of Spencer Publications. Telling him the truth felt like robbing his father of hope. Eventually, though, the weight of silence becomes too heavy. One quiet afternoon, Liam asks to see his father. They meet in Liam's modest living room, where sunlight pours through the windows but cannot brighten the mood. Liam sits across from Bill, his face pale, his hands trembling slightly. "Dad," he begins, "I need to tell you something. And I need you to let me finish before you say anything." Bill listens, increasingly concerned as Liam details the diagnosis. When Liam finishes and explains that the tumor is inoperable and the doctors have given him little time, Bill goes completely silent. His jaw clenches. His eyes begin to water, something no one sees often. "No," Bill says finally. "No. That's not happening." Liam nods solemnly. "It is." The news crushes Bill. He stands, pacing the room. He slams his fist against the wall. The thought of losing Liam, the son he mentored, fought for, and always believed in, is unbearable. But before he even has time to process the grief, another devastating blow lands. While still reeling from Liam's confession, Bill receives a call from abroad. It's a number he doesn't recognize, and when he answers, he hears the voice of an American embassy official. The man on the other end tells him that Wyatt, his other son, was involved in a fatal car accident while traveling overseas. The crash was severe, and Wyatt did not survive. Bill drops the phone. He stumbles backward, unable to speak. The news shatters him. Within moments, his world is unrecognizable. Both of his sons, gone. Word spreads quickly. Steffi, Hope, Katie, and Donna all gather around Bill, trying to support him as best they can. But nothing anyone says can reach him. He sits in silence, staring at old photos, old letters, replaying old memories like broken film reels in his mind. For a man who has always believed in controlling his destiny, this is the one thing he cannot fight, cannot fix. When Liam hears about Wyatt, his body reacts instantly. The emotional overload. Grief, guilt, fear, becomes too much. His heart pounds erratically. His breath shortens. He collapses in Hope's arms, whispering Wyatt's name before losing consciousness. He is rushed to the hospital, but it's too late. Liam's body, already weakened by illness, cannot withstand the shock. He dies just hours after learning about his brother. The Spencer family is plunged into mourning. Wyatt's body is flown back to Los Angeles. Plans for a funeral begin. But now, it is no longer just for Wyatt. It is for both Spencer brothers. A double funeral is held at a private estate, filled with family, friends, and colleagues from Forrester Creations and Spencer Publications. Everyone gathers, wearing black, hearts broken, eyes swollen with tears. Hope stands to speak first. Pregnant with Liam's child, she is the image of strength and vulnerability. She speaks softly, sharing moments of kindness and courage Liam had shown. She promises to raise their child with love, and to keep Liam's memory alive in every heartbeat. Next, Katie speaks for Wyatt, recalling his humor, his loyalty, and the way he made people feel safe just by being near. Donna, Eric, Steffi, and even Ridge all share words. But when it comes time for Bill to speak, the room falls into complete silence. Bill walks to the podium, holding a folded letter in his trembling hands. He doesn't look up right away. When he finally does, his eyes are red but fierce. "I built an empire," he begins, "but I couldn't protect my sons." He continues, voice cracking. "They were my pride. My strength. They were better than I ever was. Liam had compassion I never could learn. Wyatt had joy that couldn't be dimmed. And now, I'm standing here, the richest man in the room, with nothing left." Tears fall from every eye. Even those who once clashed with Bill feel the ache. After the funeral, Bill isolates himself. He stops going to work. He doesn't return calls. He spends days in the home office, surrounded by photos of Liam and Wyatt. Spencer Publications grinds to a slow crawl, with Justin and Katie trying to manage what they can. But the heart of the company is gone. Hope visits often. She tells Bill about the baby, and in time, she gives birth to a boy. She names him William Wyatt Spencer, a tribute to both brothers. When she places the newborn in Bill's arms for the first time, something in him breaks and heals at the same time. "I will protect you," Bill whispers to the child. "For your father. For your uncle. I swear I'll never let anything happen to you." The baby becomes a light in the darkness, a reason for Bill to get out of bed, to try again, to live with purpose. Slowly, painfully, he starts to return to the world. He makes arrangements to create foundations in Liam and Wyatt's names. One supporting cancer research, the other aiding families affected by overseas travel disasters. He rebuilds Spencer Publications not with the goal of power, but with the mission of honoring their legacy. Steffi, now raising Kelly and involved in the child's life, supports Hope and the baby with unwavering love. The history between them is complicated, but the children bind them in ways deeper than rivalry. Months pass. Grief lingers, but so does strength. Bill transforms from a man of brute force to a man of purpose. Every boardroom decision, every dollar earned, every word published carries the weight of memory and love. And in the middle of it all, a little boy grows, William Wyatt Spencer, a symbol of two lives lost too soon, and the family left behind who refuses to let their memory fade. Next, we will delve into the heart-wrenching and somewhat frustrating storyline surrounding Liam Spencer on The Bold and the Beautiful. As Liam faces a devastating diagnosis of an inoperable brain tumor, a narrative ripe with potential for deep emotional exploration emerges. Yet, curiously, the spotlight seems to veer away from Liam himself, landing instead on the ever-present Steffi Forrester. This week's episodes reveal a peculiar twist where Steffi, rather than Liam, appears to be the central figure in a story that should rightfully belong to him. Join us as we unpack this unexpected shift in focus, explore Steffi's persistent need to insert herself into every drama, and ponder what this means for Liam's tragic journey as he confronts his own mortality in the glamorous yet chaotic world of Los Angeles high society. Liam's tragic diagnosis, a story overshadowed. Liam Spencer finds himself grappling with a life-altering reality on The Bold and the Beautiful as he's diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor, a condition that forces him to stare down the fragility of his existence. For a character often seen as indecisive or lacking depth, this plotline holds immense promise to showcase a profound transformation, peeling back layers of vulnerability and strength as he navigates his final chapters. Imagine the raw conversations, the unspoken regrets, and the tender reconciliations that could define Liam's arc as he seeks closure with loved ones. Yet, in a baffling turn of events, Liam seems relegated to the sidelines of his own existential crisis. Instead of delving into his fears, hopes, or quiet moments of reflection, the narrative pivots away from him, centering on other voices that drown out his own. This missed opportunity leaves fans yearning for a deeper connection to Liam's personal battle, wondering how such a pivotal story could slip through the cracks of melodrama. Steffi's unyielding presence, the center of every storm. Enter Steffi Forrester, a character whose knack for positioning herself at the heart of any unfolding drama is both legendary and, at times, exasperating. Steffi has a storied history of weaving herself into situations where her presence isn't necessarily warranted, often reshaping narratives to reflect her own perspective. Take, for instance, her meddling in the romance between Hope Logan and Thomas Forrester, where she played the role of unsolicited advisor only to later draw a possessive line in the sand with a stern "hands off my husband" directed at Hope. Or recall her insistence on confronting Sheila Carter's engagement to Deacon Sharp, despite months of peace, driven by a need to assert control over a situation that didn't directly involve her. More recently, Steffi couldn't resist injecting herself into Liam's conflicts with Bill Spencer, chastising Bill for upsetting Liam, only to stumble upon Liam unconscious outside Bill's door, a dramatic discovery that conveniently placed her at the epicenter of yet another crisis. Now, in Liam's darkest hour, Steffi has once again claimed the spotlight, turning his tragic tale into a platform for her own emotional display. Rather than allowing Liam to steer his narrative, sharing his pain and decisions on his terms, Steffi's involvement overshadows his struggle. She's become the gatekeeper of his secret, the one orchestrating how and when others learn of his condition, all while framing the story through her own lens of concern and tears. Her presence in Liam's living room feels less like support and more like a takeover, as if his battle with mortality is merely a backdrop for her latest performance. This pattern of dominance raises questions about why Steffi feels compelled to center herself in every saga, even one as deeply personal as Liam's impending loss, leaving little room for others to process or connect with him directly. A missed moment, Liam's voice silenced. The frustration peaks as recent episodes, particularly Thursday's, failed to deliver the emotional payoff fans might expect from Liam's storyline. Instead of a poignant scene where Liam opens up to Hope, bearing his soul about his diagnosis and what it means for their shared past and their daughter Beth, the focus shifts yet again to Steffi. The episode closes not with Liam's words or quiet resolve, but with Steffi shedding tears over his fate, a moment that feels more about her grief than his reality. It's a telling sign of how this deathbed narrative is unfolding. Liam, the man at the heart of the tragedy, appears as a secondary character in his own goodbye. Steffi's upcoming decision to bring Hope into the fold, revealing Liam's condition presumably on her own terms, further underscores this unsettling dynamic. Where is Liam in all this chaos, beyond being a passive figure in Steffi's orbit? Why does his story seem buried beneath the weight of someone else's emotional agenda? Steffi's domination, a recurring theme. As this storyline progresses on The Bold and the Beautiful, it becomes increasingly clear that Steffi is poised to dominate Liam's narrative, much as she has commandeered countless others before. Her ability to steer conversations, influence revelations, and position herself as the emotional fulcrum of every major event is a hallmark of her character, for better or worse. Yet, in the context of Liam's terminal illness, this tendency feels particularly jarring, robbing him of the agency to tell his own story. Will there be space for Liam to reclaim his voice, to share his fears and final wishes with those he loves most, or will Steffi's overshadowing presence continue to eclipse his journey? Fans are left to wonder if this tale of mortality will ever truly belong to Liam, or if it will remain a canvas for Steffi's dramatic flair, painted with her tears and interventions rather than his quiet courage. What are your thoughts on this unexpected shift in focus? Do you hope to see Liam take center stage in his own story, or do you think Steffi's involvement adds a necessary layer of complexity? Next, we will unravel the tangled web of romance surrounding Hope Logan and Carter Walton on The Bold and the Beautiful. What was once billed as a passionate love story between these two has left fans scratching their heads, as their connection feels more like a hurried fabrication than a deeply rooted bond. From Carter's sudden confession of lifelong feelings to Hope's seemingly opportunistic leap into his arms, and now the complicating presence of Daphne Rose, this storyline brims with contradictions and questionable motives. Add in Liam Spencer's puzzling encouragement and Katie Logan's timely discovery, and you've got a recipe for soap opera chaos that's as frustrating as it is intriguing. Let's dive into the murky waters of this so-called romance, exploring the inconsistencies, hidden agendas, and new twists that keep this drama alive in the glamorous yet tumultuous world of Los Angeles fashion and heartbreak. The mirage of Hope and Carter's epic love. From the outset, the romance between Hope Logan and Carter Walton on The Bold and the Beautiful has felt like a hastily sketched fairy tale, lacking the depth and build-up that makes love stories resonate. Out of the blue, Carter proclaimed he'd been nursing a profound affection for Hope for ages, a revelation that came without any prior hints or stolen glances to back it up. Rewind to their time in Rome during that pivotal Forrester Creations trip. Where were the lingering looks or subtle flirtations that might have foreshadowed such a grand passion? They simply weren't there, suggesting the writers crafted this narrative well after the fact, retrofitting emotions into a relationship that never showed organic roots. This sudden declaration felt less like a genuine confession and more like a convenient plot device, designed to stir drama rather than depict a believable evolution of feelings between two longtime acquaintances in the Forrester orbit. Hope's heart, a rebound in disguise? As for Hope, her tumble into Carter's orbit seemed less about true love and more about timing and emotional necessity. At a moment when she felt adrift, reeling from Thomas Forrester's departure and a stinging rejection from Finn, Carter emerged as a knight in shining armor, whispering all the right words to soothe her wounded pride. Yet, there's little evidence that Hope was enamored with Carter himself. Rather, she appeared captivated by the notion of being desired, of someone harboring secret adoration for her. Her surprise at these newfound feelings was palpable, but they lacked the weight of authenticity. Carter became a safe harbor, a consolation prize to fill the void left by others. This superficial attachment became glaringly obvious when Hope abruptly ended things after Carter made the noble decision to return Forrester Creations to its rightful owners, the Forrester family. Her swift dismissal of him in the wake of this honorable act underscored a harsh truth: Hope's heart was never truly invested in Carter, making their so-called romance feel like a fleeting illusion rather than a lasting connection. Liam's misguided plea, a romance that never was. Adding another layer of confusion to this already perplexing saga, Liam Spencer recently stepped in with an impassioned plea for Hope not to abandon the pursuit of love. In a poignant conversation, he insisted that Carter was her person, the one destined to stand by her side. But this heartfelt endorsement fell strikingly flat, leaving viewers puzzled over the foundation of such a claim. Where was this grand, sweeping romance between Hope and Carter that Liam championed with such conviction? The reality is, it never truly unfolded on screen for fans to witness or root for. There were no tender moments of shared vulnerability, no gradual build of trust and intimacy, just a rushed narrative pushed forward by declarations rather than actions. Liam's words, though well-intentioned, seemed disconnected from the tepid dynamic we've observed, highlighting how much of this supposed epic love story exists only in the minds of the characters rather than in the hearts of the audience. Carter's duplicity, a kiss that betrays his words. Carter's own actions further erode the credibility of his professed undying love for Hope, casting him as a man of contradictions rather than conviction. While he's been vocal about his deep feelings, his behavior tells a different story. Just this past week, he was caught in a clandestine moment, locking lips with the enigmatic Daphne Rose in the backstage dressing room of Forrester Creations. The steamy encounter, hidden amidst racks of haute couture designs, painted a vivid picture of temptation and betrayal, undermining every poetic sentiment he's uttered about Hope. As if scripted for maximum drama, Katie Logan stumbled upon this forbidden kiss, her eyes widening in shock as she processed the implications. Now armed with this explosive secret, Katie faces a dilemma: should she warn her niece Hope before she recommits to Carter, a decision she appeared poised to make as the week drew to a close? Carter's duplicity raises serious doubts about the sincerity of his affections, suggesting his heart or perhaps his resolve is far more fickle than his words imply. Daphne's dubious devotion, genuine or contrived? On the other side of this messy love triangle stands Daphne Rose, whose sudden claims of profound love for Carter ring just as hollow as his declarations for Hope. Her supposed emotional awakening feels rushed and unconvincing, leaving fans to question the authenticity of her feelings. How much meaningful time has Daphne actually spent with Carter outside the polished walls of Forrester Creations? Their interactions seem confined to stolen moments in corporate corridors, lacking the personal depth needed to foster genuine connection. Do they share late-night conversations about their dreams, or quiet mornings uncovering each other's quirks? There's no evidence of such intimacy, making Daphne's assertion of never having felt love before feel like a dramatic overstatement or perhaps a misinterpretation of lust or infatuation. For now, Daphne remains a shadowy figure, more a plot device than a fully fleshed-out character, inserted to complicate Carter's choices rather than to offer a believable rival for Hope's place in his life. Until the writers peel back the layers of her backstory, revealing her motivations and history, Daphne will continue to feel like a convenient catalyst for drama rather than a woman with a heart of her own.